As we discussed in the last panel, that we are living in the world of quick delivery, where the consumer wants everything within 10 minutes of what he or she orders. So we have seen over the past few years, consumer expectations are changing at a very rapid pace. We can say that pandemic has actually made this shift happen in the consumer behavior to a great extent. And all thanks to the consumer brands who are actually fulfilling those consumer demands. Because whatever the consumer is demanding, they are making it available in 10 minutes. So I would love to know from each and every panelist, how have you seen the consumer expectations changing? Because what I have observed is, I'll give you my own example. For example, if I'm ordering from one quick delivery app and it's showing 15 minutes and it's taking extra delivery charges, my decision changes then and there. So you must have also seen such behavioral changes in consumers, how it is impacting your brand, your demand for your brand. I would love to know from all of you one by one.
Hi. So one of the biggest consumer behavior change that we are seeing as a brand is from the quick commerce platform, wherein the convenience, consumers are looking for convenience, speed, and also the visibility of delivery. And these are the set of consumers who are very focused on time, and they don't want to go through any hassles. So what they expect is they want to order from a quick commerce platform because they don't have to be at home. They don't have to plan when they have to be at home. For example, if the order is coming from a major e-com player like an Amazon, they know that it will be there within the next 20 to 30 minutes max. So when they want to do the purchase, they go to the app, order, and then take the delivery. And that's one change. And second, why quick commerce supply chain plays an important role is because of the flirtatious nature of the consumers. If a particular preferred brand is not there, they are okay to experiment. The game is all about being available when the consumer is ready to order. So that's where, as a supply chain professional, I see winning in quick commerce platform is all about availability, and being there is what matters.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Piyush. I take care of supply chain at Pepperfry. So while there has been a lot of discussion about the delivery timelines and everything, I guess for most of the sectors, that is a key differentiator. But when it comes to Pepperfry, which is like furniture-dominated company, delivery timelines do play a role. There has been a shift of consumer who wants a crunch in the delivery timelines, but it's not like 10 minutes or 1 hour or 1 day kind of delivery, which people are expecting. It depends from sector to sector. In my case, my delivery timelines are on an average 10 days, which used to be 14 days. So we are working on reducing the delivery timelines. But the key differentiator or the change in the consumer expectations is more in terms of whatever you are committing, you have to adhere to that. It should not be breached. And the variety or the range of products at display. So people want to see more and more range, and in terms of furniture, they also want to touch and feel that. So what we have done, in the last 2 years, we have opened around 200 physical stores. So that's, I guess, omni-channel is a big thing which is coming into picture, apart from like selling only online. So people want to go to the store. They want to, if they are buying a 50,000 rupees bed, they don't want to like buy it only online in 5 minutes. They want to go to the store, talk to the consultant, maybe have a touch and feel experience, and then order it. So that's the big shift which is coming, that e-commerce companies also moving to physical stores.
Yeah, hello everyone. Myself, Aashutosh Taparia, I work with Big Basket. And before I answer that, if I can just take 10 seconds to know the crowd, just wanted to know in the last 1 year, how many of you have shopped the particular category, which I say, whether online or offline, but bought yourself, right? So how many of you have bought, say, furniture? Okay, quite a few hands. Medicine? Great. Any grocery, be it potato or cosmetics, something. Okay, great. Only cosmetics. Apparel. Shoes. I don't buy shoes online, by the way. So, as you see, in grocery, almost everyone raised their hands, right? So grocery as a category is something which everyone buys. It's a category where everyone sitting here and some sitting outside and others standing outside are customers, right? And With such a big customer base, it's all about knowing your customer, right? And that's a generic statement, knowing your customer. So everyone is a customer. I can't serve everyone. So next, the question is knowing the customer segment which you want to cater to, or rather can cater to. And this ultra-fast delivery is a customer segment as per me. Everyone wants groceries, right? वही सफेदी, वही झाग कम दामों में मिले, सब लेंगे. ऐसा लोग बोलते थे. But still, other than Nirma, other detergents were sold, right? So it's a perception that people want everything, people only want cheap, right? People consume what they want to consume. Some people only consume brands. Some people only consume the feeling that they get when associated with a brand. Some people consume the feeling of saving that extra buck, right? And ultra fast for me, as I said, is just a segment which caters to that. And I have seen many examples. So when I joined the e-commerce industry almost 8 years back, Amazon next day delivery was literally the fastest you could get, right? So order today, you'll get it tomorrow. Seemed to be a wow thing, right? 10 years back. And now, I don't think that's a buzzword anymore, right? And that point of time, Big Basket started delivering slotted deliveries, saying that we will not deliver the full day, we will tell you a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour window, and we'll deliver within that window. And we thought that was a wow. And cut to today, when people expect their groceries to come in 10 minutes, right? It's a big change. We live in a country where you can get a potato in 10 minutes, but not paracetamol, right? And doesn't mean that the paracetamol in 10 minutes is not important. It just means that what is feasible to be delivered in that timeline. And hence, I feel in the current age also of so-called ultra fast, it's all about finding the niche and to deliver to that niche profitably. And that's the task for every company.
Hi, this is Rishi from Dealshare. So, to my mind, to answer this question, the consumer behavior change, I would like to focus or bring focus to what needs of consumer are not changing. So when we look at that, every consumer would seek better price, better speed, better experience. So to my mind and how I see the whole retail sector today, the quick commerce, I see still it as a buzzword. And why I say this is that remember the time when Tata Nano was a buzzword, but we today know how it is happening. So it is like, if everyone wants a car, is it feasible? And similarly, if everyone wants a quick delivery, will it be feasible for a company like us or other parallel companies to create a supply chain like that? So somewhere I feel that to make it a mainstream is a distant call. And if you even look at the numbers today, even the most matured ones, whether it's DoorDash or other mature markets, we still see that it's a very, very minuscule tip of the iceberg kind of a story. So therefore, I don't believe that this is going to be beyond a buzzword, but let's see how the time will test it.
Hi, my name is Suchit from Sugar Cosmetics. I think I'll sound very, very cliched when I say that if the question is, has the consumer requirement, behavior change, etc., my answer to that is, it is the consumer behavior and consumer expectation is so complex that anybody who says that, yes, we've identified this trend and we've understood what the consumer wants, I think, at least in our company, we have not seen that pan out like that because, I mean, the whole traditional way of how we've learned marketing, consumer understanding, consumer behavior hasn't held true to any of the data or insight that we've gathered from our existing customers. What we've definitely realized, in spite of all of that, is a few things that, one, the consumer has become a lot more complex. That is driven by their own requirements, as well as the choice of options available, whether it is about how they purchase, whether it is about how fast those items get delivered. And I think they're trying to maximize value in every way. So if the question is, if somebody is delivering faster, will they switch to that particular channel? It is a definite no, because then Zepto will become a bigger platform than Nykaa when it comes to buying cosmetics. But if you really ask them, everything being the same, delivery, does that make an impact? The answer to that is a definite yes. We've seen that happening a lot. I mean, there's regular survey that we do with our customers, and one of the reasons of having a particular platform as a preferred platform, speed of delivery definitely pops up. We have seen that when we've improved delivery experience on a particular e-commerce platform, we did that on Myntra, for example, we saw that our numbers started moving up while everything else remained the same. So those are hard facts to answer your question, Charu, that we've definitely seen. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're seeing, and I don't know where this will go, because a lot of people were speculative about 10-minute delivery. It started happening successfully. We were not at all sure of what it means for us as a makeup brand, but the kind of purchase orders we are getting from Zepto, Blinkit, etc., are hard numbers, and we are also a bit unsure as to how to read this. But those are realities, and that's what we are seeing is all I can share right now.
Hi, this is Ankur, and I am from Mamaearth. See, we as a brand present in multiple channels, whether it is offline or within offline also trade and retail. Then we have our own market, our own website. We are present on marketplace, and then we are experimenting with quick commerce as well. Now the key point here is this is the same consumer who is shopping across all of these platforms. Consumer occasion or the need has slightly shifted between these 3 to 4 platforms. How? For example, there are certain set of repetitive categories where customer is again and again coming back to the quick commerce or the e-commerce platform. But if the question is about engagement with the customer is to an extent still preferring the brick and mortar space, whether it is offline or it is retail stores. Little too nascent for us to reach to a conclusion this is the exact behavior of a customer. But having said that, if I have to say, what are the 2 or 3 major drivers in the decision making? One is certainly the cost of delivery or the cost the customer has to pay. That's number one. The second is the speed, how fast or how reliable it is. Thirdly, it's more about convenience or engagement. If the category is more about engaging, there is a possibility that customer gonna get into the physical space. If it's all about, for example, the food and the grocery businesses, where you just want speed and bit of a price sensitivity is there is a chances that you will come from the online and the quick commerce space.
True that. If, for example, I'm cooking and there is no onion at home, that is the quickest option that I can think about. But there are many challenges and opportunities in the ultra-fast delivery space. So I would love to know from you, Ashutosh, how are you addressing those challenges and opportunities, and what are those challenges and opportunities actually?
So the biggest challenge is reaching that balance that customer wants, right? We were just talking about that different customers want different things, and it's all about finding the right niche of customers. I'm so sorry. So coming back to that, if I go ultra fast, I have to be closest to the customer as possible, right? If I have to reach your home in 10 minutes, typically I cannot drive for more than 6 to 7 minutes, which means if I have to follow all the traffic rules and not break the signals, I cannot travel in Mumbai city at a speed more than 15 kilometers per hour, which means I need to be within 1 kilometers or 2 kilometers radius from your house. With that micro sort of ecosystem that I've created, it will not be profitable for me to carry an entire range of 20,000 SKUs that a typical consumer might want, even in grocery space for the entire year. So you play your game, you see what is the Pareto principle, what is the top 80% contributing, and suddenly you realize that grocery has a huge tail, right? So we carry, for example, in Big Basket close to 50,000 SKUs in Mumbai, and almost 5,000 SKUs cater to 92% of our sales, right? However, if you even cut it further and make it half, that 90 will only become like 78, which is 80, right? So if I have only 3,000, 3,500 SKUs, it will still cater to 80% of all the customer needs, right? So imagine 3,000 SKUs versus the remaining 47,000 SKUs. Fitting that range close to the customer within 2 kilometers is a Herculean task. I'll have to literally buy a warehouse 20,000 square feet close to every customer. So the challenge then lies in maintaining that balance, that can I get the onion which you ran out of while you were trying to cook in 10 minutes, and while maybe a face pack or maybe a particular shade of lipstick that you wanted for a party in the evening, if you are okay with it, or hopefully in the next day, right? And that balance for me is very, very difficult to do, right? You have 15 shades of pink lipstick, right? It is not possible for me to carry all that entire range close to every customer. So the biggest challenge we face is getting the right assortment at the right time frame. the way we are trying to solve for it is obviously to stagger the customer needs even in grocery. So we have gone deep in grocery. We have different channels available, but typically we all sell grocery. So within grocery space, we try to deliver the quickest consumption needs, say via BB Instant, which is a vending machine, which you can literally get in 15 seconds, to something like a quick commerce grocery, which you can get in 15 minutes, which is the 3,000, 3,500 SKUs I talked about, which will cater to 80% of your needs in 15 minutes to half an hour, to the entire tail, which I'll get to you within, say, 24 hours, right? So that balance and using data and our history of what customers prefer to buy and our entire journey that we have, we try to cater to what a customer wants in what time frame and plan accordingly.
Would you like to add to it, Rishi?
Sure, Charu. So when we look at quick commerce, from opportunity point of view, I think the companies which are doing it well, they have already demonstrated that how feasible it is. And as Ashutosh mentioned that, of course, the serviceability in terms of number of products that can be serviced becomes a challenge. And since we are in a supply chain discussion, what I personally believe, to create a supply chain which is for all products or range and for all customers is nearly impossible, similar to like the car example that can everyone drive a car. But at the same time, it is of course exciting. It has created the buzz. It has, we have seen the demonstration. But at the same time, if we look at from whether the product brand side, so for the product brand also, this is a very special, small niche. And when we look at brands, they also focus a lot on content and packaging. And this is a very new dimension. So I feel it will evolve. But of course, there are challenges, like as I said, building a supply chain which is cost effective or affordable is the right word. In addition to that, the kind of traffic nuisance and safety issues it brings, I see these are the two very big items to solve for. And of course, there is an opportunity, but as I said, that it may not be the top focus for consumer delivery companies as well as the brands, because they have a larger supply chain problem to address.
True.
If I can add just a minute
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
Charu, to this. So you mentioned supply chain, and I clearly agree. That is the biggest problem, right? And during COVID, we got a chance to watch Ramayana again, right? And people used to carry all these arrows behind them, and Ram only had 2 arrows. But the irony was, even those 2 arrows he never took out, at least in the TV serial, right? He used to do like this, say some words, I don't know, and the arrow just used to come. I think supply chain is about knowing how to get what you want at the right time. And if I have to summarize, Rishi put it very well, that this is what we do. The way to solve this problem is to know that what you want and how to get it when you want it. Because keeping everything every time is not possible.
So I would love to know from, we have 3 brands which are in the cosmetics industry. I would love to know how supply chain, if they are talking about, how it actually, it's quick delivery supply chain, how it is helping you to reach the urban consumers at the earliest possible. Sankaranaraynan, if we can start from you.
So I think we already spoke about it. So every brand is, we are going forward for a omni-channel presence, okay, for urban consumers, or be it for tier 1, tier 2, or even rural consumers. So we have our D2C brand website from which the customers can order, and we are continuously redesigning our supply chain networks to just see which pin codes can be served from which fulfillment center, so that across the country, any particular consumer can be delivered, the order can be delivered within 3 days of ordering. So that's one thing that we do. The second, what we do is, we are opening up our own exclusive business outlets in tier 1, tier 2, and even metros. So that the intent of that is more about experience center, where we want our consumers to come and touch and feel the brand, try our testers, understand what are the product portfolios which they are not very clear on the website. They can come and try that out. That's for our EBO business. And even on the retail channels, we have our modern trades, we have our general trade also, which we want to scale it up. So these are the across the brands. I think this is the single strategy that we would be doing across. That's the overall Uber level. But there are certain innovations that we are trying, which can help deliver a better experience. So I'll share just one example which we are trying to pilot. So once we have our 4 to 5 exclusive business units, business outlets like in Mumbai, why can't we serve our online customers directly from those stores rather than a fulfillment centers, which is maybe just to give an example in Bhiwandi in Mumbai. Why can't I directly source it from a store which is there next to the consumer? So that's one of the pilots that we are trying to come up. So these are some of the differentiators that we are trying to overall trying to do to overall improve the experience of the consumer.
So Suchit, are you also, I mean, you all already have a lot of stores. So are you also using your stores as fulfillment centers that way? Or quick delivery, quick commerce is also an option for you guys?
So I think quick commerce is not a substitute to building reach, because as he was saying, it's already there for us as well. And I'm sure is in some stages and some phases would exist for large consumer-facing brands eventually in the short term as well, okay? For example, we also have 160 brand outlets which currently we are piloting the tech integration of delivering through them our online orders. So as he was saying, we're also, by April, that will become a reality. 150 stores means presence in about 40 plus cities. That is largely covering the higher percentage contributing cities. Through our online presence, we are catering to 18,000 pin codes, delivering within 2 to 3 days, and in a lot of cities within the same day as well. So I think from a reach perspective, all of that exists. In our experience, as I said, we're still early on the whole quick commerce journey. So the learnings still are getting piled up. But it is like that billing counter in a superstore where you're there and you're also picking up a few more items while you're picking up the essentials. I think it's, for us as a category, that's what we see happening a lot more, saying that I'm anyways shopping through a few things and I also see this. See, for example, for us, it is a game of not missing out rather than trying to use it strategically to build reach, because reach for us already exists. So that's how I would, and see, the other problem is how much, even if you're using it to build reach, how much do you want to depend on that as a particular channel? Because as an earlier panel was talking about unit economics, for that channel in itself, how does the unit economics work right now is also questionable. I'm sure if it was that easy, Big Basket would have done it a lot earlier. That also needs to work, because the moment as a brand, if you start depending too much on that, what happens to the last mile delivery because the rider efficiency is not cost efficient, or the channel itself is not cost efficient? What do you do is also a reality. And hence, in an omni-channel play, as he was talking about, we need to figure out what role that channel plays, and I think that's where we are as a brand.
See, the key for us is reaching closer to the consumer. Now, all these channels serves that purpose. As far as the reach and penetration is concerned, we are already present in more than 30,000-40,000 doors through our trade channel. A fairly significant share of our revenue also comes from our D2C channel. Now, the second dip on the problem is, what is the right assortment do we carry in these channels? Let's say, for example, in a particular catchment, a particular shade of lipsticks work very well for us. There is a possibility we might not be having it. Now, so we are an innovation-led brand, we are a purpose-led brand. You go on our app, you try on those lipstick shades, and you can order from online as well. I think reach and penetration to an extent has been solved. The key is to bring right assortment in their catchment. That's the one thing we are working.
True. So, Piyush, I would like to know from you, furniture being a big ticket purchase, have you reduced the prices? Have you reduced the delivery time in Bharat also from 14 to 10 days? Or what steps are you taking to penetrate deeper into Bharat while maintaining the P&L?
Okay. Talking about the penetration deeper into Bharat, for Pepperfry, we are catering to 10,000 pin codes. And it's like our own supply chain. We are not using a logistics partner for these 10,000 pin codes. So I guess, that's the kind of penetration we have. If I talk in terms of cities, it's like 400 plus cities which we are catering. And it has cities, to give an extreme example, it has cities like Tinsukia as well from Northeast, which we are delivering furniture. What we have done is that we have tried to focus on timelines, but we are not cutting down the range of products which Pepperfry offers. So if a customer who is sitting in Aswal, he wants the entire range of products. So we have like 20,000 furniture items listed on the website, and home items, if I talk about, it's like 70,000 items. So we are giving that entire range as an option to a customer who is sitting in Aswal. And then timelines are different. It is like 5 days, it is 10 days, it is 20 days, it is 30 days also for a customer who is in Aswal. So we are saying that because if we start limiting the range, what will happen? We will have to offer only 100 products to a customer in Aswal. And I don't think, and from these 100 products, if I talk about beds, so maybe 10 beds. Telling a customer that you have these 10 beds and you buy from these 10 beds doesn't sound like a good e-commerce idea. So we are saying that you look at the entire range, you look at the timelines, and you decide. And the customers are not so particular about timelines in a category like furniture. So that's the differentiator here, that customers are ready to wait for 30 days also to get a furniture because it's of his choice. He has seen some 1,000 beds and then he has decided this one bed. So 30 days is acceptable to him. Only thing is that you have to deliver in those 30 days. You cannot make it 31 days. So that's the challenge when you penetrate deep into Bharat. You have to commit, whatever you commit, you have to adhere to those timelines. But as a industry, furniture industry is not Pareto driven. Okay, we don't have Pareto that these 500 SKUs are selling 80%. Okay, like for me, some 50% range is selling 80%. So there is no Pareto. So I cannot like, we don't mingle with the range part. The range, full range will be offered, but we have to deliver it everywhere through our own supply chain. Coming to the cost part, so that becomes a little tricky, that how do you manage cost? When you are delivering from Rajasthan to Agartala, so the cost will come into picture. And that is where the supply chain efficiencies come into picture, that where all wastages are happening in the supply chain, what can be reduced, because customer can bear the cost up to a certain extent. He is not going to bear the cost if you tell him that, okay, you are taking this 30,000 rupees bed and you have to pay 10,000 rupees as a delivery charge. He is not going to bear that, right? So efficiencies have to be built in the supply chain. What need to be controlled is up to you, how good you understand the customers. If you know that your customer are okay to wait 30 days, so maybe you will build your vehicle utilization efficiencies and you will reduce the transportation cost. If you think that your customers are not going to wait for 2 days, so what we have done in Mumbai, Delhi and Bangalore, we have experimented with 24 hours delivery. You order today by 9 p.m. and you will get the order tomorrow, in the day, tomorrow you will get the order delivered. But what has happened, customers are telling us not to deliver in one day. Like many customers are telling us, because furniture is an item which people want to be present when the delivery is happening. It is not something which you can leave to the security guard, right? So to understand the customer needs better, I guess that will help in bringing profitability into supply chain, that, okay, this is not something where I'm going to spend big money because customer doesn't need that. What customer needs, we will give him that. We will not say that you have only 500 SKUs to look up to. You have full 20,000 items of furniture to look up to, but timelines will be a little longer. We will reduce that, but we will not make it 1 day, 2 day for all the customers and for all the products.
So different categories, different consumer behavior, different sort of demands, right? So one last question I would like to know from all the panelists. Profitability is one thing that you talked about. Sustainability is another thing, right? So how are you guys building a sustainable supply chains for future?
So at Big Basket, we value sustainability very highly, and I think most of the responsible brands nowadays do, right? It's also about the consumer being ready for it. So, for example, if you order quick commerce right now, most of the players will give you some sort of outer packaging also, right? And while the outer packaging costs a bit, it gives them a lot of efficiency that they can just come, give you the bag or the packet and just move on. It increases their efficiency because the biggest bottleneck there is the delivery person's time, right? So they solve for that using the bags. We also tried and started doing it, and then actually we got a few customer feedback saying that, this doesn't look too sustainable. You're still making paper, right? And we thought about it and we said that does make sense, right? We have always started using crates and bags, something reusable. So why are we taking a deviation in quick commerce? So we went back, we came up with the saddlebag module, and we tried to, when we go to the customer, we ensure we take out each and every product and we bring the bag back, right? So that's a very small bit for us in trying to, ensure that whatever we do, we try to bring the sustainability angle, and it has a cost implication also, right? So whatever we say lose in that efficiency, we gain in the saved amount for that paper bag. However, there are times where the customer, as I've mentioned multiple times, doesn't know what he wants, right? Like you also mentioned, right? So there's a multiple things he wants. So we try to do the same for fruits and vegetables. And we said that why do we use the paper packaging or any packaging on vegetables? And the biggest point is it's actually detrimental to the vegetable, right? So if you cover it up, they are not able to breathe. Unlike most other products, vegetables are still breathing even after they are delivered to your house, right? So by covering them, I somehow curtail their natural processes and it's not good for them. So we decided we will not use it. And the backlash was also very severe. While 8% customers came back and appreciated that good that you have stopped using paper bags and so even reusable plastic is still plastic, right? It decomposes in 6 to 8 months and it is a footprint impact on the entire world. We thought, why do we want to use something which will be thrown away? However, 30% customers came back and say that you guys are just trying to save a buck in the name of trying to save the environment. And it is just a means for you to not make money or waste money. My local thela can give me a theli. Why can't you? You're a Tata company and I think you have lost your way. And it was very hurting for me because I actually spent more in trying to deliver without packaging. We had nylon bags which we had to reuse, and fruits and vegetables are very difficult because they breathe, right? Sometimes they ooze also. So there was a sticky substance that will come out of any vegetable or a fruit. So all the nylon bags were dry cleaned every day. And even that, not dry cleaned, sorry, cleaned every day, right? And that washing and the laundry bill itself for me was more than my packaging expense at that point of time. I was doing it because we felt that it was the right thing to do, and the customer generally felt that we're trying to save a buck. So now we have come back, by the way. So for fruits and vegetables, we again use packaging now, and we're developing a product wherein we'll ask the customer that if you feel this packaging is something you really want, what you want is something which you're willing to pay for. Will you give me 1 rupee extra for me to package your products? And if a customer pays 1 rupee extra, we'll package it. If he doesn't, we'll not. And that's the way we are trying to. So at our heart, we are trying to think about sustainability in everything we do. The journey, though, is sometimes more difficult than what it seems at the outset.
So Charu, very interesting question, sustainability. So when we talk about sustainability, and especially in the context of e-commerce companies, so e-commerce companies itself, when they look at their P&L, they are not sure about the business model in a long run. So therefore, the question is all the more interesting. So let's look at the dimension of resources that are being put to create supply chains. And today, what I see, two major trends. One is on the side of packaging, and the other is on the side of usage of vehicle, especially the EVs. And we already heard about the packaging front, but what I also see that the EVs is of India first technology in a way, because India is unlike the IC engine revolution, kind of missed the bus and trying to catch up, but EV is India first. So I see a very clear, a very sharp trend, whether we see larger companies like Amazon, Flipkart, who are using already 30% plus of their fleet using EVs, and the kind of solutioning which is taking place in India in EVs, so many companies, local companies, developing vehicles. So I remember my Flipkart time when a three-wheeler would topple and there was no door, so the driver may fall outside. So those kind of issues were there. But since a very local India solution is being developed by the players, so I see a good direction which India probably can give to the whole world.
So just to add, just 10 seconds, it was very interesting. I remember, say 8 years back, when we started using EV, in one of our locations, we deployed 8 of them. And the guy next day called and said, sir, at least deploy one more. And we said, कि यार, it's so good, you want more. बोलता है कि no sir, रोज एक खराब होता ही है, उसको उठा के लाने के लिए एक और चाहिए. So from that, we have definitely come a wrong way in 8 years that the EV sector has really gone up well and the reliability of vehicles have really gone up. So now we are also trying to adopt them more and more.
So can we deliver furniture also using EVs?
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to the last mile, I guess that is where EV will play a great role. So talking about like Pepperfry, so we have our own vehicles, 300 own vehicles, and the decision has already been made that whenever we are buying more vehicles, depending on the growth, the new set of vehicles will be EV. So in the last mile, I think it is for sure that it's going to make a big impact. When it comes to a long haul, the mid mile or the first mile, then it is still, I guess the technology is in progress in that direction. But what we can do and what we are doing at Pepperfry in terms of sustainability is that again, like focusing on that vehicle utilization part. It is, if you are utilizing your vehicle 100%, you are saving money, you are doing the business in a very efficient way, and you are also helping the environment. Yeah, so that's like fulfilling multiple goals with one objective.
Yeah, I think, see, it's very difficult to say that we'll become sustainable because the cost of becoming sustainable sometimes doesn't support the business model overall. So I think it's a journey that every brand will have. The way we look at it is, I mean, to be sustainable, there are probably 3 broad ways. One is to replace the kind of material that you're using with sustainable material. To be extremely honest, we are nowhere there. But there are 2 more things that we definitely do. If we can't replace, can we reduce the usage of that particular product? What we are doing with our packaging partners is to understand what is the right thickness, the right grammage of paper that we need to use. Are we overdoing it? And can we reduce? So, I mean, in fact, just giving you a small example, last week itself, we had a meeting with our packaging partner, and we were discussing about how do we ensure that we're using 20% less material to be able to do what we are still doing. So, the second thing is reducing. We are doing it in multiple ways. How much bubble wrapping do we use? Our products are slightly sensitive, etc. But we've done, with our product team, done a lot of drop tests to say that what particular product definitely needs that extra cushioning and which products do not necessarily need it. Then creating SOPs at the warehouse level saying that don't follow a standard SOP, it has to vary by SKU. Slightly difficult, but we're trying to do that. The third way of being sustainable also is to reuse, okay? So if you're not able to reduce the usage, can we reuse a lot of stuff that is already there? We've created a champion within the warehouse who's a reusability champion. His sole target is to say what amount of material, packaging or otherwise he's been able to reuse and what is the saving in cost. I think small things might not move the needle at an overall level too fast, too quickly, but it is a mindset shift, and the moment you do that, we were very surprised pleasantly that a lot of people came back and said, हम ये भी कर सकते हैं, ये भी कर सकते हैं, ये भी कर सकते हैं, because in your mind it is a challenge. The moment you turn it around, say ये करना है, I think a lot of people at the ground level also come up with a lot of interesting ideas, and that is where real innovation happens. We've seen that happening recently. So I think those are the 2 things that we are focusing on beyond trying to also replace, but yeah.
So we look at it, it's a journey, and how do you do it? So the brand is a purpose-led brand. That's how it actually started. How you do it, while there is a lot of work which is being done on the packaging, on the delivery side, so far, whenever you shop online from our brand, we plant trees. So more than 4 lakh of trees have been already planted. That's number 1. Number 2, approximately 4,000 metric ton of plastic has already been recycled. So what essentially I'm saying, it's a part of our DNA because that's how the brand has all started. So at every element in the entire value chain, we have certain levers which help us optimize this and work on the sustainability.
Sankaranaraynan.
Okay, so Plum, as you know, we started as India's first vegan and cruelty-free brand. So sustainability and transparency is not only thought through when we design the product, but it's part of our company values itself. So that's how important sustainability and transparency is for us. So it starts with, as you mentioned, starts with the source of ingredients and being transparent about the ingredients to the customer by publishing it on our product very transparently. One other example I wanted to give, what we are trying at Plum. This is not, something new that we have started. It is there since inception. This is a program called as Empties for Good. So basically, in this program, we ask our consumers, to ship us back. Either they can come and drop it in our, exclusive business outlet, or they can ask us to do a return pickup for the used bottles that they have, the used containers that we have. These are plastics. So, and in exchange, they can get, loyalty points, which they can reimburse, redeem in our website and, do ordering. And what it helps us, at least we are trying to be, we try to be responsible by taking those plastic and ensuring that we dispose it in a very responsible and sustainable manner, rather than letting it be, ending up in any landfill in the country. So that's one thing that we have been doing since inception. And good thing is that there are certain set of consumers who value it. There are set of people who value sustainability, and they think that they need to give more to the earth than what they consume. And these are our loyal customers, and because of them, we are able to sustain this program. Though it, it is very challenging, we are able to sustain it over the years. So one short example where, there's an attempt to make on the circular economy and sustainability, but also is making somewhat business sense.
So we saw how the new age brands, consumer brands are innovating to actually stay ahead of the curve. And we have just few minutes for taking maybe 2 questions. Any questions for the panelists, please?
I guess it's related to sustainability only, right? Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So when it comes to Pepperfry, what happens? So we have an advantage that we have our own supply chain. So that gives us an edge that whatever packaging material we are using in furniture packaging and everything, so that is getting picked back at the time of delivery, and it is coming back to the warehouses and getting reused and everything. So because my own team goes for the delivery, I am not dependent on the logistics partners, and they are picking back the material and bringing, and we are reusing most of these items multiple times, and whatever we are not able to reuse, we are recycling it in the right way. In terms of furniture, because another aspect is wood, because furniture is all wooden and everything, but the responsibility lies both on Pepperfry and on the merchants who are selling the furniture through Pepperfry. But we take the ownership. We work with the merchant that how we give back to the nature in that aspect, that from the wooden aspect. And as from the example of Mamaearth, so we are also doing a lot of tree plantation. I guess some 2 lakh plus trees has been planted in some 2 years, in the last 2 years. And so that is one program which is driven by Pepperfry, and the merchants are running their own program, whichever big merchants are there. So we are selling the stuff of, say, Durian, Hometown, Home Center. So they all have their own programs, how they run sustainability in their companies. So we keep a track of them. We engage with them that how do we give back to the nature. In terms of we are selling wooden furniture and sustainability.
We have 40 seconds to raise the question and for the answer. Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Okay. Hi, it's Atu this side from Ecom Express. So I have a question. So we discussed about the ultra-fast delivery, right, and then emphasizing on the superior customer experience, right? So my question to you, when you are dealing with millions of shipments in a day, right, how do you control pilferage, right, or leakage? Because at the end, of course, customer experience is impacted, and also it impacts your P&L. Thank you.
So I'll take this question from my Flipkart background, where we were handling millions of deliveries every day. So what we see from a fraud point of view, I think that's the core theme of your question. So what we see is that the fraud can happen both sides, whether, let's say, customer side itself, plus the supply chain professionals. And to prevent the fraud, so several things are being, let's say, tried, and many of them are in practice. And one of those are trying to account at each stage of handshake, when the handshake is happening, whether the next level or next person in the handshake is receiving the right product or not. And then the second aspect has been, so that's a, let's say, timestamp aspect and tracking aspect. The second aspect is usage of tamper-proof packaging, which also is quite preventive. And at the leg, the packaging is tempered. You can perhaps assign the issue to that leg. In addition to these two major elements, there has been some new initiatives like open box deliveries, where even the customer is shown what is being delivered, especially for the high value products. So these are the few of the dimensions which are being tried and innovated in this direction.
So we'll not keep you away from the food for a very long time. If anyone has any more questions, you can ask the panelists while having the lunch maybe. So I would love to thank all the panelists over here. Thank you for the lovely session.